Okay, let's get some work done on beauty. It's quarter to one, and it's 105 out right now, and it's a tad bit warm. So I've got the cooler. I'm turning that on, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and pull this timing cover off. I got to drain the sump, which will drain the tank, and pull the timing cover off. That's about it. I've got all the parts for the other side. Actually, I've got the parts for this side too, because I have to replace the oil seals when you take a timing cover off. So it's all on order. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop the sump plug and take the timing cover off and take a look at the built-in anti-drain down valve that was done in the 1975 only motorcycles. Okay, that's why you don't have to do the modification, AMR modification on the 75s, because they're already modified at the factory. All right, so I'm going to do that. Let's see how it goes. They moved the sump drain on this 75 from up in the center to back here, sort of the back end of the casting. Interesting. I haven't done enough 75s to not be surprised at some of this stuff. Come on, get on there. There. That's tight all the way. I'll probably just let it drop into the pan because I really don't care. All right, so I got the sump drain filter out of the bike. I'll take that apart and clean it. Now, not that much fluid coming out of the sump. That's interesting. I expected a lot more than that. Let's pull this other plug, which I believe is probably a magnetic drain plug. Let's take a look at that. Looks to be about a 9/16, maybe a 5/8. 9/16. Oh boy, there goes the oil. That's the sump oil. I don't see any metal on that magnet, so that's good. All right, so I got this stuff on the bench. I'm going to clean the filter. sump filter. Client wants a new gasket. I stock those, so that's not a problem. Here's the filter assembly, and it's clean as a whistle. This is really clean. You can stretch this out and brush it off, but basically there's nothing there to brush off. Okay. All right, so I've got a nice new crush washer. I'm going to put a little red stuff on it and stick it back in there. Then I'll put the magnetic one in there also. This is totally superfluous, doesn't really do anything. But what the heck, I've got it. I'll put it on these threads and underneath the copper washer. And sort of like, why not? May not help. Certainly won't hurt. Okay, so I'm going to get down here and put these two back in. Isn't this just exciting? Boy. Okay, in goes the magnetic plug. Which I torque to exactly precisely the correct amount. Let's put the big one in. It's too hot to be fooling around like this. In case you're wondering, this edge of this socket has been ground off flat, so you get a better grip on these things. It does, however, make it harder for them to slide on. All right. Okay, here we go. All right. Well, I'm going to turn the cooler on now and work on the other side. Okay, let's yank this timing cover off. Ignition magnetic pickup comes out of here. The oil line to the rockers comes off down here. This assembly is easier to remove the whole thing than it is to just try to get this out of your way. You could leave it, but why not take it off? So let's start by dropping this shifter, this brake assembly out of the way. Let's see if by any chance all of these are bolts and none of them have studs on the inside. That'd be really nice. How sweet it is. Now we can just take this and slide it out of the way a little bit. Even up here is good. Maybe down here is better. Let's see if we can do this. There is a solid brake line here, but it is somewhat malleable. Let's see if I can get this up out of the way. I don't want to disconnect the brake line. So if this doesn't work, I will admit defeat, okay? Right now, all I have to do is get it up out here, and I can do that with I gave away all my bungee cords, but I can strap it up, which I'm going to do. Actually, I found a few of these little old ones, tiny little things. Let's see if I can make them work. I don't know if you saw him go by, but he was driving that thing down the street while looking at his iPhone. Okay, I got enough clearance there. I'm not going to worry about anything else. Let's take this off. Hmm. I'll cut it out. Oh, why do people do that? Snug plus a quarter turn. That's all you need. Hex, 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 hex. Everything's hex. That's an old boiler. Cool. Boyers are sort of like the ever ready bunny. They just keep working. So, what do you think it's going to be? Let's see, so I've tried 2 so far. All right. Third's the charm. Now, in case you're wondering about electronic ignitions, this is a Boyer, and it's just a straight bolt in. Got no problem at all. Just does that. Payson, same thing. Straight bolt in. No problem. The vape is a problem. The vape has these posts positioned a little bit farther outboard than these, and they will rub the inside of the case here. So if you're doing a vape, you'll end up grinding a little bit of metal out of these Norton areas in here in order for the vape to not rub. Not a big thing, uh, except for the very first time. And the very first time I ran into it, I just couldn't figure out what's rubbing, what's rubbing, what's rubbing. I thought it was the circumference of the pickup. But it wasn't. Now, somebody out there is thinking right now, why didn't he just make a scribe mark where the magnets are and where the board is so that he can put it back together and just line up the line and not have to redo the timing? Kevin and I have done several experiments that way, and we mark them perfectly and with a hairline and just gorgeous. We put them back together exactly lined up, and then we strobe check the timing, and it's 3, 4, 5 degrees off. It doesn't matter how careful you are when you mark these marks, they don't stay perfect. I don't know why. Might be valve slop. I mean, timing, chain slop. That's chain driven, you know. So, anyway, nice thought. Doesn't work. If the center rotor doesn't come out, stick a probe in it. Like that, and it'll come right out. All right, so we've got the oil line off. We've got the ignition system disconnected out of there. We can take those wires out. Nothing stopping us from taking the cover off, except fear itself. There is nothing to fear, except fear itself. Now the difference between the AMR mod and this, see this bump right here, that bump, that tells you it's a 75 and it has the anti-drain down valve in it. Now the difference between this and AMR is if there's an AMR mod in there, you can't tell from the outside by looking at it because there is no bump. And when you take the cover off, you'll hear a clunk and then you'll hear a rolling sound. And then you get down on your hands and knees and find out where the ball bearing went because it falls out. So if you don't know for a fact that there is an AMR mod, double check. Be real careful when you open this lid and make sure that you have something to catch the oil, the ball bearing. Now what I'm going to do now is my typical box cutter blade on these high points right here behind the bolt holes. That way you can break it free without doing any damage. Oh. Get my great-grandfather's hammer. Ooh, this one's really tight. I'll get another blade. We'll do a two blade. What I'm doing is I'm trying to split the gasket. Okay, now, since it's so very tight, I'm not going to let paranoia be my guide. I'm going to double check all the bolt holes and make sure there's nothing in the way. And there's no reason for it to not come off. And one into the oil. Luckily, I got lots. I buy them by the thousand. I really do. So let's put one in here, like that, and then put another one in next to it. Okay, it's starting to open a little. Let's put a second one down here. Okay. Be really careful with these things. They'll cut you in a heartbeat. It's sort of like X-Acto knives. The primary purpose of X-Acto knives is to prepare fingers for sutures. So you've got to be really careful. And these things are just as sharp, if not sharper. Come on, get out of there. All right. So now at this point, I've got enough of a gap to get a very small screwdriver in there, and I'm going to do it. Now here's a very small screwdriver. I really am curious as to did I forget something, because I've never had one fight me like this before. This one is really coming off of here hard. Got a good 1/4 of an inch gap over here, and it's still fighting with me. Okay, gosh, you guys get to watch the one that fights me. This couldn't be an easy one, could it? No. It's got to get in there and fight with me. Right on camera. Did I forget something? I mean, that's just an examiner. I don't think that does anything. I haven't opened one of these that I know of, that I remember. I don't think it's going anywhere, but I'm going to take it off. Nope, just an inspection hole. All right, so that's what it is. Gosh, am I forgetting something? I've done it before. I've forgotten a bolt, but I don't see them. Feel free to comment if you've ever had a timing case fight you like this. I am not going to mess up this sealing surface by putting too many screwdrivers into it. And there it is, finally. I don't know why. She swallowed that fly. Okay, so while we're in here to look at this little guy right here, this little plunger. And let's see if he's free. And he is. That's your anti-drain down valve. And he seems to be working just fine. I have seen them stuck in, but he seems to be just fine. Okay, so now I need to replace this seal and the mating seal on the pump that this rests up against before putting it back together. And of course the gasket. So this guy here is different than the one used on the predecessors. This is, I believe it's different. You'd think I'd have some of these from one of the ones that I have taken apart in the past. I'll see if I don't have one in my junk drawer, parts drawer. And that plunger I showed you rests right up against here and stops the oil from flowing down. Interesting. Okay. If you've never seen inside the timing cover, I'll give you a close-up now. All right, this is your cam shaft over here. It's chain driven. This is a shoe that, this is kind of loose. You adjust this shoe to take up a little bit of this slack. I have one in my bike built by a fellow member of the club, and it is spring loaded. It does the job automatically, takes up that slack. This guy is the oil comes out of here, goes across the cover and into here, into the crankshaft. So from here to here is real important. And down here, this is the oil coming down from the oil tank, oil bottle, and this is your vent. So we're just going to let this sit here and drain overnight, because we've got about as much as done as but about, wow, you can tell I'm tired. We've done about as much as I can do without parts that are on order, unless I happen to, well, I might happen to have the oil seals that go here and here. I might have them, but I definitely don't have the seal that goes here on the oil pump. I don't think. I might, because I bought a lot of Norton kits, and kits come with seals, and I can look in those leftover bits and pieces from the kits that I've purchased, and I'll let you know what I find. In the meantime, I'm going to do cleanup and go have something cold to drink, and I hear my recliner calling me for a nap. And right now it is it is 1:40. I don't remember when we started, but whatever it is, I'm tired and calling it a day.